What's up, YouTube? Today, our next Banlist discussion will be on cards that can come back.
So we're actually going to start this off with a couple cards that are currently not banned, but that can move back up. One of them was TG Striker. I guess I forgot to mention this during our lower tier deck discussion, but TG Striker, I mean, that's currently at 1, and its main problem was that it was being splashed into so many decks, and that's when you had, Brianak, Trishula, Goyo, the really powerful synchros. So I could see this card going back up to 2 without any problem, and I'd be actually comfortable, saying that on a Banlist discussion. If you guys didn't watch, this is going to be mostly on forbidden cards that we think can come back. If you're looking at most of the cards that can come back up, a lot of them attribute or archetype specific, go back to our tier 1.5 and below video, and we have quite a few. We talk about some zombies, some Black Wings, some Glad Beast cards, so go check that out. So last Banlist, 2 cards came off the Forbidden Limited list, and that's actually where we're going to start. Spore is currently at 1, and I think it could go to 3 no problem. Its main effect is it can only be used once per duel anyways, so I don't think that would be a problem. If you also want to boost plants a little bit, you could do Lone Fire to 2, but the main thing you get with Lone Fire is to get out Spore. So I'd be fine just moving Spore up to 3. I don't think that'll be a problem. And also Suki Yomi. Everyone thought Suki Yomi was going to be the most broken thing ever when it came out. Or they thought it would be, semi-staple. Let's put it in every deck. I'll admit, right when it came out, I got a copy for cheap on Amazon, and I tried playing it in my Worm deck, and it was really underwhelming. So even, flip effect decks, I don't think they even bother with it that much. So I'd be fine with Suki Yomi going up to 3. I think Konami might try and semi-limit it too, just because that's kind of their way. They try to take it slow. So if I had to guess, I'd guess maybe Suki Yomi semi-limited on the next ban list, or unlimited. I'd actually be pretty surprised if something doesn't happen, if it doesn't go up to either of those. So to start with cards that we think can come back.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed. So we have. Let's see, 3 spellcasters we're going to talk about first. First one is Thousand Eyes Restrict. No one would summon this the correct way. By correct way, I mean you'll have Relinquished, Polymerization, Thousand Eyes Idol. The way you get this, Metamorphosis is gone, so you can't get it up that way, so the way you'd get it back is Instant Fusion. So for those of you that don't know, it counts as a correct fusion summon. You pay 1,000 life points and can only use it this card once per turn. And it special summons a card from your extra deck, or a fusion monster level 5 or lower. It's and it can't attack that turn, and at the end phase it's destroyed. So basically what you would do is you'd play Instant Fusion, you get your 1,000 Eyes Restrict for a turn, you steal their monster, at the end phase that goes away, plus their monster. So it's almost like kind of a Soul Taker that hurts you instead, and it doesn't destroy. It sends. Well, because the 1,000 Eyes Restrict is destroyed, so the card itself is just sent. So I guess you can get rid of a Zen mains that way pretty easily. We're gonna have quite a few topics you can talk about in the comment section below, and the main one is, would you run Instant Fusion just for that purpose? I mean, some people are saying that Instant Fusion is going to be a staple, but the fact is, one, just the fact that it's basically a better Soul Taker, plus the fact that you have to then dedicate, now extra deck space is kind of tight. I mean, would you want to waste an extra deck space on 1,000 Eyes Restrict to get back with Instant Fusion? Or would you say, screw it, I'm going to run more valuable cards? A lot of people saying that you can then abuse it because it was correctly fusion summoned. You can use Call of the Haunted or Monster Reborn to bring it back and have an actual 1,000 Eyes Restrict. But, come on, now, in the days where we have Lagia, where we have Shockmaster, is having 1,000 Eyes Restrict really that horrible? Is it really that hard to get rid of? So I don't think so. So I would actually really like to see 1,000 Eyes Restrict come back to 1. Why not? It'll make for an interesting deck, or an interesting side tech card. Next spellcaster, Magician of Faith. A lot of people think that this could be easily splashed in, but I think it's a little bit too slow. It is a flip effect. When this was running around, you had a lot more powerful spells. You had the Delinquent Duos, Graceful Charity, Pot of Greed. My basic opinion is, if you think if a card is too broken to be recycled with Magician of Faith, then that card should be banned by itself. So, I mean, I guess this applies if your argument is, Monster Reborn's too broken to be recycled, then, well, let's ban Monster Reborn. As it is, I don't think Magician of Faith, let's put it at 1, would Prophecies tech it in? I'm not sure. Maybe some people think that they'd have a basic skeleton with some Apprentice Magicians, but I think that Magician of Faith is just too slow. I mean, you waste your normal summon, and then you have to get it flipped. Plus, I mean, if this happens early on in the duel, and you haven't used your Reborn or your Dark Hole or Heavy Storm, you're not, what are you going to do? Magician of Faith will be dead because you're not going to waste setting it so that you can get back, maybe an MST you used early. So I could see Prophecies maybe making use of it, but I think Magician of Faith is a little bit too slow to do any harm. I'd love to see it come back to 1. And the other spellcaster would be Dark Magician of Chaos. A lot of people are saying how strong a play going Temperance and then into Demock would be, but Temperance into High Priestess is already the better play. This is another one where a lot of people are saying, oh, the fact that it brings a spell back makes it broken. But, I mean, okay, so you get your extra Reborn. If getting that extra Reborn back is so broken, then we should ban Reborn. Demock itself, I mean, yes, while it's normal summoned or special summoned, you get the spell back, but when it leaves the field, it's banished. So you can't recycle it with Monster Reborn. I mean, it's called Dimensional Fusion? It's the spell version of Return from a Different Dimension, where you pay 2,000 life points. That card's banished, so it's not like that card is banned, so it's not like you can have some loop with Demock where you get that card back and then use it to get back Demock. And so, unless you really want to get, those Monster Reborns or those Dark Holes back, that side, I don't think that's the best argument. And also, yes, it destroys it banishes a monster, it destroys, but we already have Chaos Sorcerer and, BLS. BLS, it doesn't even have to attack, it can just banish a monster. So, I don't think, again, I'm not I'm not too informed about, Prophecies or what they would do. Any Prophecy players out there, would you run Magician of Faith? Would you run Dark Magician of Chaos? I don't think, if you're worried about a card breaking Prophecies, look at, the Divine Judgment card that's coming out. Don't worry about, Dark Magician of Chaos or Magician of Faith. I think Dark Magician, Magician of Faith would be a little bit more splashable. I think Dark Magician requires a little too much dedication to be splashed into any deck. But Prophecies can maybe make some use out of it. But stop saying Temperance into Demock is the broken play. I mean, they have Temperance into Priesthood, which I think they take almost any time. The next two cards are both water cards. The first one is Sinister Serpent. I mean, this is the card, if it exists in your graveyard during your standby phase, you can return it to your hand. So it's basically unlimited discard fodder. But why would you run this card? I mean, a lot of people are saying, would Mermaid Atlanteans run it? But why would you discard Sinister Serpent when you can discard an Atlantean card or a Mermaid card and then get their effects off? Some people are saying, now this makes, Lightning Vortex or, Phoenix Wind Blast or Divine Wrath essentially costless, but you're not going to run one of these cards just to get some costless cards essentially. So I could easily, let's put it to 1. I don't care. Even with the the popularity of Mermaid Atlanteans, I mean, again, Mermaid Atlanteans players, would you run a Sinister Serpent? Like, yes, I guess if you have nothing else, and you feel like you have to waste a card in your hand to summon Megalo sometimes, this could be useful, but, why would you do this instead of a Dragoons or a Marksman? Like, why would you discard this card? I mean, it basically, maybe for Monarchs, you're always going to have a Tribute fodder, but Treeborn Frog does it better. And then the last one is an interesting one, Tribe-Infecting Virus. So, it's a water monster, and you can discard one card to select one type of monster, and all cards of that type are then destroyed. Before, Mermaid Atlanteans, before Water.deck came out, there was no reason for this card to be banned. It's essentially Lightning Vortex that you have to normal summon. It gets a little interesting now that we're talking about Mermaid Atlanteans. I mean, the fact that this can then trigger the Mermaid Atlanteans, the effects once it's discarded. So, not only will you destroy, but you'll also, get off a Dragoon's effects. You can get off a Marksman effect to also destroy a back row. I actually don't see a problem with this coming back, bringing it back to 1, because I'm not sure, again, to you Merman Atlantean players, would you bother running one of this card? I mean, this card I think is too... It's not worth running it in any, just splashing it in any deck. I mean, this isn't going to be suddenly the side deck card. I mean, if you really want to do it, you'd side Lightning Vortex, especially with a lot of decks that have multiple, multiple types. I mean, a deck like Windups, like this really wouldn't even hurt Windups. So I could easily see this coming back. I guess I'd almost doubt that it would come back just because there would be so many fears about Merman Atlanteans, even though I personally don't think it would be broken. I mean, they have Undine. They have plenty of other ways to discard monsters, and they also have plenty of ways. They have marksmen. They have heavy infantry. They already have ways of getting over and destroying those monsters, and they can just go into Mega Low and kill 2 a turn. So I don't think it would have as much impact as people say it will. And that's kind of how it is with all these cards. I mean, yes, you have, so with the 5 I just, said, you have people saying that, something like Thousand Eyes Restrictor, Magician of Faith, saying that, every deck will see, that this could be splashed into so many decks, but I really don't see it. I mean, it would be an interesting, and neat little thing. Diversity is good, Sure, if people want to start teching in Instant Fusion to get Thousand Eyes Restrict, that would be awesome, in my opinion. But I don't think it's powerful enough that it warrants this card being banned. And then you have cards like some people think, DMOC would boost Prophecies that much. But that'd be nice if they get a little boost, but I don't think it's as powerful as people think it is. Or, would Sinister Serpent be broken in, Merlantians? Would Tribe-Infecting Virus be broken in Merlantians? What do you guys think? I mean, like I said in the beginning of the video, I think Suki, Yomi, Spore, and TG Striker, on our prediction video, we're going to say that they're going to go up. For these cards that are coming off, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable, saying any of them would. I think Sinister Serpent maybe is the most likely. Next likely might actually be DMOC, because some people think that Magician of Faith is a little too splashable. Hell, Thousand Eyes Restrict I'd put up there too. Magician of Faith and Tribe-Infecting, I think people just have a little too many concerns to fully bring those back yet, but I guess I wouldn't be surprised if any of the 5 came back, but I'm not confident enough to actually predict that any of them will come back. But this is just a nice, interesting discussion. The other card I talked about was Time Seal. We actually already did a video on that if you want to check that out. It was nice. I checked Mega Capital G's Banlist video today, and he didn't say Pot of Greed was coming back, but he did say Time Seal could come to 1, so I'm in full agreement with that. Another case of a card that might be a little overrated because everyone says it'll be broken, but no one wants to run it. So thanks for watching, guys. This is our final kind of discussion type video, and in a couple days we'll come out with our official prediction video, and then after that we'll make some comments on any big leaked ones, or then officially the released ban list. So thanks for watching. We really enjoy Banlist season. It's like, yeah, it's like Stardust. Stardust's gonna get hit. They've killed every other synchro. I mean, Stardust is next to go. But so yeah, thanks for watching. What do you think of any of these cards? So, see ya.